Now, the results from last year's college entrance exam have been coming out since the end of December. While some students and parents are celebrating, many are already concerned about the high costs involved in enrolling in a university. The tuition fee is high, but adding to that burden is the price of textbooks. And our reporter Kim Chan-ju has more on this story. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, average Korean college students spend between 200 to 300,000 won. That's roughly about $300. And that's a lot of money considering their monthly spending is just slightly over $400. So as alternatives, many turn into illegal copies of textbooks. So I went on to find out what their thoughts about pricey textbooks and some possible solution to this issue. For some college students, vacation is busier than during their school semester. It's because many of them are busy with their part-time jobs so that they can save up enough money for their various expenses before the semester begins. This college student who will graduate this year says on top of the high tuition, the cost of textbooks each semester adds to the burden.
I have to pay close to $200 per month just for the interest of my various student loans. On top of other expenses, it is difficult to pay for these textbooks that cost more than $200 per semester. It's not easy to pay for the books because they are just too expensive.
Usually the price of college textbooks ranges between 30 to 40,000 won, or roughly $30 to $40 per book, and the textbook market is worth 700 billion won, or $650 million each year. This has led to the long-standing custom of making illegal copies of textbooks in university districts.
Textbooks are so expensive these days that it's hard to buy them for my studies.
Since a lot of my friends get textbook copies from print shops near the university, not many think it's illegal.
Since the crackdown on copyright infringement was toughened, many have stopped making textbook copies, but there still exist places like these nearby universities where you can make illegal copies of textbooks. But this is clearly an act of copyright infringement and you can face legal punishment. Last year, there was a lawsuit which raised the issue with this customary act of copyright violation.
According to Article 30 in the copyright law, photocopying machines designed to provide services for the public must obtain permission from the copyright holder before using publications. Our association is signing contracts with print shops near universities. If businesses without this contract are found to be making copies of books in their entirety, it is considered a copyright infringement.
One of the alternatives students have found is second-hand bookshops. There has been a rapid growth in the number of second-hand textbook trading. These bookshops saw 5.6 times more sales since 2010. Also, over 8,000 members have registered with websites where students carry out direct trading of their second-hand books. At this university in Seoul, students can borrow textbooks for one semester for free of charge. This unique program allows students to rent out books once they donate their own.
Most textbooks for your major are used just for one semester with the exception of a few. I think it's great that you can save money on textbooks.
You can only rent out books from the school library for about 2 weeks. This library is great because you can borrow the textbook for the entire semester.
The library is filled with books on various subjects as well as those for exams and obtaining specific certifications, leaving barely any room on the shelves. Apart from second-hand books, university professors have come together to publish free textbooks to reduce the financial burden that students have, and this is known as the BigBook movement. These university professors started writing copyright for textbooks, and the number of those interested in joining this movement is increasing.
I think this will be huge financial relief for students. We plan to collaborate on writing textbooks like this with the help of 100 professors nationwide, along with students, experts, and civic groups.
So it seems like it's really up to the professors who will decide whether the so-called Big Book movement will be successful or not.
That's right. For many professors, it's actually not easy to give up the copyrights of the textbooks that they wrote. But for the big movement, though, about 30 professors nationwide, including those in the field of business administration, law, science, engineering, have all joined in. And also one of Korea's major conglomerates, along with some philanthropists, have donated 100 million won for this movement. Meanwhile, Korea Press Foundation said that they will provide any necessary data for professors participating in this movement. So as for the future plans for the big movement, they are going to publish and write 100 free textbooks for students in the next 3 years.
Now, used books is always an option. I remember our books were really expensive as well, so we'd go to the used bookstores and buy them. Besides, they had all the highlighting already in there, so you didn't have to highlight anything new, which made it easier. But used books have always been around, and it seems that this is an option over here as well. What are some of the ways that these students are exchanging or going through used book transactions?
Many of them are doing second-hand trade within themselves, and also there has been some second-hand book market in the universities like Hankuk University of Foreign Studies or Kyung University, where the student body itself holds a second-hand book market before the semester begins. But however, when the student body changes, so does this plan for the second-hand book market. So it hasn't been held on a regular basis yet in the university.
You know, college students are always tight on money and on tight allowances. So are the universities or the government doing anything to support them financially?
Well, I found that the second-hand book website and also the Dream Library that I visited in Seogang University, they seem to have an overwhelming number of students looking for textbooks. So to lessen students' financial burden, there should be more second-hand book trading in the campus on a regular basis, and also increasing number of e-service and textbook vendor services by the government. This could be also a solution to preserving copyrights while letting students have material to work with.
Okay.
All right, well, sounds great. We hope students do have more options out there in the futures for getting used books or copies of textbooks that they need. Thank you very much, Hyunjin.
Thank you.